Welcome, avid viewers. Let's wrap up our exploration of China and take a look at late medieval China. We last left off with the Mongols ruling China under the Yuan dynasty. After the death of Kublai Khan, weak rule under his son, famine, plagues, and a peasant revolt brought about the end of the Yuan dynasty and Mongol rule over China. The top commander of this revolt was a man by the name of HONGWU. His story begins from humble beginnings. His parents were so poor. How poor were they? His parents were so poor, they had to give away many of their own babies because they were so poor they couldn't even afford to raise them. Luckily, they hung on to HONGWU though. By the time he was a teenager, plague had wiped out nearly his entire family. Imagine this teenage boy burying his own family. Can you imagine? After spending some time as a wandering beggar, he joined a Buddhist monastery and became a monk. And when the Red Turban Peasant Revolt broke out, HONGWU became the commander. With his Red Turban army, HONGWU defeated Timur Khan and established a Chinese dynasty once more in China, the Ming Dynasty. This dynasty will be one of China's most successful and lasts from 1368 until 1644. During the Ming Dynasty, the Great Wall was fortified and completed to prevent future foreign invasions, such as from the Mongols. A secret police was established to spy on, arrest, and kill thousands of Chinese citizens that were viewed as threats to the Ming government. And in the capital of Beijing, the Forbidden City was constructed. The Forbidden City is a collection of palaces and temples for the emperor's use. No foreigner was allowed to enter, hence its name. It was so forbidden, for instance, that once fire broke out in the Forbidden City, and when the fire department showed up, the gate guards would not allow them to enter because the fire department had not been given permission in advance from the emperor to enter. And so the whole Forbidden City burned to the ground. They had to rebuild it. Perhaps one of the greatest ocean navigators of all time was a Ming naval admiral by the name of Zheng He. His ships were called junks, and they were 5 times larger than any European ship at that time. He had a fleet of 300 of them. With his fleet of junks, Admiral Zheng He sailed around the entire known world, setting up trading ports around Asia, India, Africa, and Europe. Upon returning home with this fleet and reporting to the new and very young Ming Emperor, the Chinese Navy was disbanded and Zheng He's entire fleet of ships were burned. You see, after hearing Zheng He's report of the world beyond China's borders, this young, naive Ming Emperor came to the conclusion that the outside world was too primitive and had nothing to offer China. Think about this. Had Zheng He's fleet not been burned, he might have discovered the Americas 60 years before Columbus. Had that happened, the Americas would belong to China. China then entered a long period of isolation that will ultimately leave China behind the rest of the world. By the 1600s, the Ming Dynasty was also plagued with weak rulers, high taxes, and poor harvests. So a Ming general decided to join and lead a peasant revolt. He believed in order to successfully overthrow Ming rule, his peasant army must ally with a foreign army north of the wall, not the Mongols, but another northern people called the Manchus from modern-day Manchuria. He simply opened the wall gates to the Manchu army and just let them in. So in this case, the wall didn't fail the Chinese, it was dissent from within their country that failed the Chinese people. The Manchus entered China and conquered it and established the country's final dynasty, the Qing Dynasty. The Qing Dynasty was afraid of foreign influence, so the government restricted foreign travel, prevented trade from the outside world, and practiced isolationism until the dynasty was overthrown in the 1911 revolution. And that's where we'll stop. I hope you found our study of medieval China interesting. Thanks for joining us.